Hey everyone, and welcome to another video. I am SimplyGee in front of camera today. So if you've never actually seen my face, this is what you're dealing with. But today I have kind of a difficult, maybe controversial video to talk about. And I'm sure that having read the title, you kind of get an idea. And I do want to say that was a little bit clickbaity. It's not nearly that grand. But I just wanted to keep all of you updated. I've done videos like this before. But today and over this last week, I've been going through my collection as I normally do and pulling out things to sell on or to donate, to find new homes for, because that's something that I very continuously do with my collection. I find having a large collection can be very overwhelming. I find that if I don't reread or revisit something often enough, I typically don't need it. And I've spoken a little bit about kind of the overwhelming kind of consumerism within this community and sort of the wider manga community that you see on social media, and how that fosters a really unhealthy relationship with the items that we own, that we value, that we collect. And I will say this up front, that I am still someone who loves manga, enjoys manga, reads a lot of manga and light novels, and I don't watch as much anime as I did, as a teen or in my early 20s, but that's something that just happens when you get older. You have less time, but it's not for disinterest, or it's not for lack of want. So over this week I was pulling out certain volumes and certain series that I've been collecting and have either just finished and never don't see myself rereading, or that I have started but wasn't as interested in as I thought I would be. And I kind of got to this point where I was thinking, I don't like this, right? I don't like having a lot. And in some ways, I do think that I have benefited from having a larger collection, being able to, support the things that I enjoy, and I love having really beautiful and really lovely collection pieces in this really amazing room that I've put together over the last 10 years. But I had to be honest with myself, and I really took a look at even the few things. I have a large collection, full stop. I have a large collection. I always say, with the caveat that it took me 10 years to get here, and it is a constant work in progress, and I will never not have some sort of anime, manga, whatever collection, because it is, there are things that I value, there are things that I enjoy, and it's a very large part of my entertainment that I consume. But I had to be honest with myself in regards to, was I holding on to things that I actually believed that I would revisit, or was I holding on to this idea that I wanted to revisit it? And so for so many titles, so many things that I really enjoy, again, I don't have a huge amount of stuff on the shelves around me that I dislike, but I had to think, do I want to be in this position with so many books, so many things, so many titles that will never be opened again, just because they represent the fact that they're something that I enjoy? I don't know if that made any sense. But ultimately, it was me looking at all of these titles that I really enjoy, that I'm excited about, that I always read whenever they're coming out, I'm paring them down to what have I actually promised myself that I will revisit and know that I'll revisit, and what am I holding on to because it's easier to do that, right? And looking at that, so before this, my collection, including like my Boys Love and my Yuri, and not including my light novels, which I don't have as many series, but are still, like, I have a lot of those too. I had something within the range of like 1,400, maybe close to 1,500 volumes of manga. And that just seemed, there's no way that I, as an individual, would be able to enjoy all of that, all of the time. I realized that there's still a lot of series that I absolutely love reading, and whenever there's a new volume, I read it pretty much immediately. But have I opened those volumes since? Or also, have I like delayed reading those things? Or have I been so busy reading other new stuff that I just haven't gotten to finishing those, or, you know, continuing with them? And that was happening more and more. You know, I have still not finished Ooku, right? Like, which is crazy, which is, for me, as someone who has always been a really big Fumio Shinaga fan, for someone who has been so excited and passionate, and where, like, Ooku is really, really something that I've always enjoyed since I started it. I have 5 volumes that I haven't read because I've been so busy trying to read new one-shots and continuing with other series, and those are all good, like that, don't get me wrong, but me spending the time and the money and the energy on all of these new fun, exciting, interesting titles has made my actual real series that I'm very passionate about and really enjoy kind of fall to the wayside a bit. And I love the act of like discovery, and I love the act of like finding something and sharing, especially with you guys, all of these titles that I really enjoy and that I want to recommend. And it's harder to do that when on a platform like YouTube, where the physical act of buying and showing off a title, spotlighting a print book, will always be more interesting for an audience compared to a digital title. But, and I've spoken about this before, I've sold titles and continued them digitally, and there's, for me, that is kind of my plan. There's a lot of titles that I'm still wanting to continue and finish, but only through a digital means, because I know that by the end of it, I probably won't revisit it. And if I do, if there is like this urge within me to want to reread, I don't know, To Your Eternity or something, then I can do so because I have it on my Kindle. That process has always been, again, something that I've spoken about in regards to unholes, but it's not very conducive to like having a YouTube channel and talking about all these new exciting titles. And there's an element of like keeping up with the Joneses insofar as like you want to have all these new things to talk about. And I've spoken at length about how I really dislike that culture and how I have tried to distance myself from that for the past 5 years-ish since I started this channel. But ultimately social media has fostered this need and this interest and this excitement that everything is worth trying, that everything is like interesting and new and cool to talk about. And again, that's not reflection on the quality of the work or anything like that, but it's made me focus more on like how much I can read versus what do I want to be reading in this glut of just everything, so many licenses, right? And I do still try to prioritize amongst the new stuff the things that I'm actually interested in, because there's no way a single person can like one person cannot keep up with every new release that is put out every week. It's just physically and possibly monetarily not possible. So I was going through this kind of crisis of, I have so much stuff and I don't want to have so much stuff. I know that my channel has never been about like having the most stuff. I've really tried to encourage that, as to like if I buy something, I really enjoy it, and which has been true, but now I need to look at, I really enjoy this. Do I need to have it? Do I need this physical item in my hands to represent, I don't know, my taste, represent who I am and represent what I enjoy? Or should the way that I speak about something reflect that? And this isn't just for like manga and anime and light novels. I've been doing this with my book collection, general novel book collection as well. A lot of my I have a lot of stuff, right? Like, I come from a family of people who have always spent money and time on having good quality, like worthwhile things that are good and nice to have, but just to an excessive amount that like no one needs this many books, right? Like, nobody needs this much manga. I'm not running a library. I don't have like friends who borrow volumes or anything like that. Of the stuff that I've already pulled out of the shelves, I've given my sister first pick. She's taken all the stuff that she wants. I've sold so much already, which is really fantastic. I really like that. Because as I said, I always want something to go to a good home. And I just don't like where I don't like what these shelves represent me as now. And I don't think they reflect negatively on me or anything, but I just don't like to think that this is everything. This is my whole life. This is what I, work and, do all of this for, is for these. It's taken, YouTube especially has kind of taken this element of me enjoying something and, having a great time with a cool comic, and made it like, okay, so how am I going to talk about this? And I look at that and I feel like such a complainer, because I am in this wonderful position where people watch my videos and are very kind and have been very open and welcoming to me over the last several years. And again, it's not that I don't want to talk about all of these cool, exciting manga. I'm definitely, like, for me, currently, the podcast that I co-host is always like the most fun that I have every month. I love, Ray, she's amazing, and I love talking to her about manga. And whatever we're reading, or whatever we've decided to read, rather than me having to like talk ad nauseum, like in a repetitive nature over the newest volume of this, that, or whatever. In saying that, I will keep probably doing like a monthly, this is what I got for the month. But I'm expecting, fingers crossed, that I will have far fewer things to talk about, like physical books, and I don't want to talk about within a haul video, like within these pickup videos that I do every month. I don't want to talk about digital titles. I don't think that necessarily appeals in the same way. But I might, in the interim, and this is no promises, because also I like my life to be easy. I've never wanted YouTube to be work. Talk about the things that I'm excited in or that I've been enjoying in a really concise way. And you guys are watching this video, you know that my concise can mean like several hours, but I don't want to be like shackled to this idea that I need to have an opinion on everything that's brand new and everything that has come out that month. And if I'm reading something that's a little bit older or that's, you know, not as well known or whatever, I want to do that in a way that is most comfortable for me. And I mean, that's the brunt of it, right? So over these coming weeks, because it will be a process, I am, as I said, downsizing. I've already sold like 300-ish volumes. Well, I've sold probably 200-ish volumes. My sister's taken probably another 100. So I've already cut down a lot of what I had. And that will continue. I'm going to be doing it in waves of like, I'll post this on like my local Facebook marketplace or whatever else, and find homes over the next couple weeks and months, because it will be a long process. And same with anime, same with whatever else. And then once I've done that, then I'm going to think about sharing, you know, my, I don't know if journey is quite the right word, but I will do my like mid-yearly collection video. It won't be mid-yearly, and hopefully the collection will be a lot smaller. That's my expectation and hope and goal, right? That's my goal for whether it's October, whether it's the end of the year, to be much more comfortable as I am with the things that I own, and have, and like kind of regain this sense of enjoyment in not having to think about how other people are going to consume my enjoyment, right? Like that's kind of maybe the big thing that has been nagging at me. When I post pictures or video of my collection, it's with this expectation that people will like it, right? Like I do have a lot of pride in what I've been able to achieve and how it looks and how I organize things, but it should be, and it is for me, but it also shouldn't be reliant on how other people will react to that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm making any sense, but it just means that I think over the next couple months, there's going to be things that I get rid of, talk about, or not talk about, transition from the physical copy to digital reading experience, and kind of, in a way, quit what I've been doing thus far. Yeah, I don't I don't know if any of that makes sense, or like how I will assume that people are going to take this well, because I know the people, I know a lot of the people who watch my videos, and they're very kind and supportive. But I also don't, like, I'm not a big YouTuber. I'm not even like a nominal voice in this manga community anymore. For good reason, and I don't want to be. But the things that I have now been trying to do kind of run a little and like antithetical to what this channel and this community has been. But I feel like hopefully with this, I will become more focused on sharing the enjoyable things and like the stuff that I really like, without having to thus then show off like a shiny new book to prove that I like something, right? And again, that's why the podcast is always so wonderful. It's nice to have just an audio only element of talking about something. And I think because of that, as I said, I will still be doing like, oh, this is what I got for the month. This is what this will go to my shelves. But I think a lot of my, like, oh, this is a really fun, cool, interesting new series, or old series, right, as well, that I love, will be more focused on audio only, and not me having to, like, pretend that that I need a book to talk about it. Yeah. I don't think people will be mad at this, but I don't think it's necessarily what people come to for, or come for. I don't think this is necessarily what people come for, with this kind of video channel. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's the process of consumerism, and this process of like weighing your consumerism with the idea of like being a collector. I've spoken a lot about, like, I really dislike my identity being categorized as like a collector, because I don't. Yeah, I don't want to think of like that is who I am. That is what I have been put on this earth to do, is to collect stuff, because that's not the case, right? Like, there's not Viz Media and Seven Seas and Yen Press aren't reliant on me, or shouldn't be reliant on me, purchasing their things in a physical format and having it displayed on a shelf, for them to be valuable, or for me to have value. Like, right, yeah, I don't know. I'm just rambling at this point. I'm gonna end it here because this is just going all sorts of different directions. But yeah, ultimately, I'm not like quitting manga. I will still read manga. I might even read more manga, right? But I just need to step back from this, all of this around me, behind me, and you can't see it, but there are just stacks of books everywhere. It's crazy. It looks like a bomb's gone off in here, but it's actually really, really rejuvenating, and I'm really looking forward to being able to have these stacks gone, for them to be cleared out. Yeah, that's it. I might see you in the next video. If you unsubscribe because of this, that's also fine. But that's been me, and thanks for watching and listening to my general, like, crazy ramblings as per usual. I am SimplyGee. I will catch you in the next video. Bye till then.